Happy Wednesday, y'all. How y'all doing today? I went live at this particular time on purpose because those who really want something different to be here and let the other people that feel like continuing on this bullshit is actually commentary. So I deliberately went live when I knew two big content creators was live because I just need my audience right now. Okay, I just need my own audience right now. Now, Shell, as I was about to hit the button, I saw that you asked me about your email, and I actually did get it. But what happened was, girl, I got caught up in yesterday's events, and I have a life outside of this, so I'm actually just looking at it. So I will look deeper into reading this when I get off the live stream. But yes, I did get your email. Um, it was good to see you, Mona. Thank you for stopping by. I had saw that too. Mm-hmm. And hey, everybody else, we ain't gonna bullshit. Let me just tell y'all something. See, the first part of this shit say, listen, listen. I was saying some shit yesterday on the community wall, and one thing y'all need to know about my community board: when some shit is hot on the streets, there's this new thing in town and it's called wall popping, bitch. Okay, when you actually in the chat and or on the panels and you letting the whole habit let them know exactly how you feel, that shit is called woo banging. Okay, but when you on the community board, all right, when you round about down to the community board and your fingers is doing the talking and you doing all this shit, it's called wall popping, bitch. So when you see me wall popping, let that be a message to you that it is something going on. And if you nosy enough like I am, then just look around because all the evidence of what the fuck I'm talking about will be in those community board posts. Thank you, Shu. You coming in? Okay. But anyway, and I don't mind catching you up, but if you just wait, cause when I get the wall popping, bitch, I be wall popping. You hear me? I be popping the shit out that goddamn wall, just like I would do if I was down here in the YouTube streets, uh, in a live stream down here in the damn den. Yeah, I saw my therapist today, so I may have an ounce of fuck it in me. I don't know. All I know is I feel invigorated after I have one of those sessions because I go in there and just let loose. And today I learned some shit. Not only let loose with him, let loose in this motherfucker too. I'm done with the storyline unless something come up about me. Okay. If listen this shit involves me in some kind of way, I'm pretty much done. Homegirl is safe. She is doing okay. She doing well enough to be doing live streams and cussing a couple of bitches out. So my concern level is back where it needed to be. Now, via my community wall popping yesterday, you could tell when things were said to me. First of all, I don't do no outing. Now, if that's what the fuck you got out of what I was saying to him, then that is what it is. I'm not here to try to convince nobody of a goddamn thing. Because honestly, that's the kind of shit that can be smirching a bitch reputation, but it would sound mighty crazy for a bitch like me to do some shit like that when I have two children within the LGBT community, and one of which a bitch tried to do that to him. And I saw how that shit affected him. So I wouldn't dare come down here. I don't give a fuck how mad I am at a bitch and do some dirty shit like that. Now, was I pissed at him for a while? Mm-hmm. But I got all that shit. Because I realized on this whole people come and people go. So if a motherfucker chooses to walk out of my life, no matter how good I may think I've been toward that individual, you it's crazy if you try to hold down. I lost two good men. But do you think that this DN one gonna keep going without the motherfuckers? Uh, we how many hundred videos since all that shit happened? Meaning I know how to let go. And sometimes you can love a bitch better when you let go. Okay? So with that being said, fuck that. Then I seen a bitch over there, and I'm gonna tell you this right here. And we gonna get to our father. Y'all see, read the title. Read the title. This the listen part. I seen a bitch over yonder last night. I'm just surprised at some of the people who was making throwing shade. I never expected Lady Nika to throw no shade. Then you don't know Lady Nika, bitch. Cause this shade in every motherfucking conversation I have over here, that's just who the fuck I am. Never denied it. No, it's not too late. I ain't got into it yet. This the listen part. Girl, you can't be disappointed on me for doing the goddamn thing because I was very respectful in my commentary. And if your feelings got hurt or you felt like I was throwing shade, now what some others was doing was called throwing shade, bitch. What I was doing was trying to rationalize some bullshit in my mind and remain calm because I am whole a survivor of domestic violence. So get the fuck out of here. And I thought I seen domestic violence and I'll go to my grave saying it. But even though a man went to jail, the situation, as far as I am concerned, is over for me. And if Teresa happened to believe some of that shit, then that's on her. I ain't gonna go nowhere with it until she goes somewhere with it. Y'all ain't like a bitch be scared to say what the fuck she feel. No, I just know when to run my motherfucking dick suckers and when to shut them the fuck up. That was some shit that could have went real bad. That could have went real bad, real quick. I said what I said, and I stand by every fucking thing that I said. Even my motherfucking shade. You know why? Because my shade is a part of me. So I said what the fuck I said. Now, that's all I have to say about this shit. Girl, I'll be trying to figure out sometime. Do y'all realize we is grown? Shit. Like I'm fucking grown as fuck. Like you gonna tell somebody on a bitch and I'm gonna be broken. She know where I stand with her. She believe the shit that she don't have to. I tell you one thing, I ain't took no videos down. They all there. Now, that concludes the listen part of the show. Because we weren't gonna give it no more than about 10 left. And I gave it 11 minutes and 51 seconds. Moving right the fuck along. So did y'all get a chance to get into Our Father over there on the Netflix? Did y'all get a chance to get into it? Fucking right, Angie. Fucking right. 2 quarters, honey. 2 quarters. Girl, this Our Father documentary currently and over around there to that Netflix about Dr. Donald Klein, who's a fertility doctor who ultimately used his own sperm to impregnate dozens of unsuspecting patients. Girl, your man's sperm count low or y'all having some type of situation that done fucked you up, you can't quite as much hunching as you doing. You ain't hunched up on no baby. And so for some couples, that can be devastating because a lot of people out here, and it's more than what you really know, especially back in this period where we're gonna go. It's many of those women who wanted kids. They had them found they Mr. Right. They were settled. They were financially stable enough to do this. Because this kind of shit, you can't do this on the welfare program. So these people are stable in their lives, may not be rich, but they damn sure ain't looking at poor. And they can't have no kids, so they begin to do things like go to the sperm bank, take fertility medications. Yes, I was wall popping. That's absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. You two cameras and welcome. These women go to these sperm banks, see their doctors, fertility medications, keeping up with ovulation clocks and things of that nature. They truly wanted their children, right? So they go to a person who they trust. Some who heard, because they heard he was that dude to help you if you wanted to give birth. So you go into this man's office and you let him become one with your person, not knowing that this man is taking advantage of you, because while you laying in there taking your clothes off and sticking your legs up in the stirrups, he right next door in his office, let's just say, having the time of their lives. We gonna get there, just love to hold up, hold up. I have to walk y'all through it now. Glad you here, Spam. This man would do all this shit. He be in there having the time of his life, bitch. And when he's done, he puts his shit in a specimen cup. I'm gonna call it his extra. He gonna have the time of his life until he get him some extra. Take that out the chat, Spam. I'm trying to get this video monetized. Oh, it be your own kind of just slow. But anyhow, he goes in there and he has the time of his life, and he put his extra into a specimen cup, takes it, puts it into a syringe, and walks right next door and inject that shit into you. And he might have to do that 2 or 3 times before it actually takes effect and you become impregnated. Okay, so the show starts off with the good doctor clearly relieving himself in a cup. Remember I told you he was having a good time getting him some extra. Sibling one, and this girl here was a bad bee. This whole review, this girl is going to be the MV fucking P. Her name is Jacoba Ballard. Now, her mama went to see Dr. Klein because she wanted a child, and basically he made it happen. They had two, um, they had to eventually tell Jacoba because she noticed that her features were not the same as her mom and her father. Okay, so if they keep asking for so long, eventually your parents gonna have to tell you the truth. Okay. She originally thought that her mom adopted her, but later was told that she was from a donor sperm. Okay. Years later, Jacoba decided she wanted to see if she had any half siblings out there, and went to Dr. Klein for his help. But he told her that her mom's records had been destroyed, and basically told her, "Good luck to you. I ain't gonna be able to basically help you with any of this. So sorry now, right?" And there were a lot of couples in the U.S. dealing with infertility issues. Dr. Klein was said to be one of the best uh, fertility doctors. So many couples came to him. We meet his nurse from that point on. His nurse from back then. Her name was Patsy. No, her name was Pat. I put Patsy on it. I changed people's names. I did that with her too. So her name was Patsy Show. She worked for Dr. Klein from 1981 to 1994. And Klein worked with another doctor by the name of Robert Colvier. I'm using the whole name because this shit was based off a true story. So they basically, was seen as the dynamic duo, Dr. Klein and Dr. Colliver. Okay, having helped thousands of people, thousands of couples have children, right? And that Dr. Culver spoke very highly of Dr. Klein. He said if it was not for Dr. Klein, his career would not have been what it has been for more than 35 years. He truly held a special place in his heart for the good old Dr. Klein, right? What I'm basically trying to tell y'all is this man was admired within the whole medical community. Now, back then, when a woman came to these places, um, back then when they came, the men who were donors, they would have to actually meet a certain criteria. Okay. Nowadays, you type into you they do it totally different now. It ain't that easy to fuck around. Okay. Here you go. You could easily be a donor. Things that you would normally have, the things that they do now, they ain't do it back then. And I think it's because of this situation here is why they did it. Okay. So Diane was a patient of Dr. Klein's. Okay. Diane is, of course, going to be Jacoba's mom. Saying her and her husband wanted a child so bad. They had went to other doctors. It didn't work out for him. She went to Dr. Klein and thought it was a blessing because he was the best of the best. She was only 27 years old. Okay. Her husband was infertile. She got pregnant when she went to see him. Many women got their dreams because no one was aware of just how deep this situation was until Jacoba decided to do the 23 and Me, hoping to find siblings. Because now, remember, Dr. Klein told her, girl, I can't help you. Your mama records was destroyed. I don't know what to tell you. Well, she decided 23 and Me was what she was going to do to try to find her siblings. She's back on the case. Now, it'll be a bonus if they in her mind if she could actually find the donor, but she initially started the search simply looking for siblings. So let me take you to the fall of 2014 when Jacoba received the results because she was related to at least 7 other people. Excited but concerned is how she described her feeling because her mother was told that they never used the same donor more than 3 times. And she got 7 matches on this bitch. Something in the buttermilk wasn't clean, right? Klein then Nurse Jan had told us that the protocol, because you didn't want, you know, that was the pro it was that's why they kept it down to 3 people. If they keep it down to you only being able to do it 3 times, the likelihood of the population being, especially when it's small, they don't want a town full of cousins and stuff like that. They didn't want, everybody being one person's child, even though that's what wind up happening in the end, right? You don't need a populations of brothers and sisters that could potentially end up married. So at this point, based off Jacoba findings, they did use the same donor more than 3 times. Jacoba and one of her matches began to work together to find out her biological father. They even joked about what if it was the doctor. They had no idea. See how this came together. This girl wasn't expecting all of this. She just had questions. When she saw that it was more than 3 matches of people who she could be related to, what they call siblings this whole time, she only started it because how in the hell, if y'all only allow him, how do I have 7 matches? Okay. So her and one of them siblings got together and they decided to do some investigation. They found a lady named Sylvia through the matches who was a second cousin. They reached out to her. Now, am I keeping y'all up to date? Y'all do know that Sylvia is a cousin to Dr. Klein. Child, this family tree thing finna be crazy. So I'm gonna ask every now and again, are y'all able to keep up? Because if you're not, then I'm gonna break it back down a little bit more for you, okay? So they reached out to Sylvia, who is a cousin, second cousin to Dr. Klein, okay? Because she had a 23andMe profile and asked what surnames was in her family. Well, when they asked Sylvia there, she gave a list of names, and one of them names on there was, I think, Swinford. Now, Swinford was Donald Klein's mama maiden name. Okay, that made Jacoba X, is one of the names, one of the other names potentially in her family lineage was Klein. And the lady said, yeah, come to think of it, absolutely. I have a cousin, Don. And she mentioned that he was a doctor, and Jacoba knew at that point what had happened, and it made her sick to her stomach. So are y'all keeping up with me? Y'all able to? Cause I don't like these live things, but especially y'all want to do it live. Okay. Y'all see how this all started. This all started because this girl wanted to know, first of all, why do I look different from my people? Yes, this is Netflix. Why do I look different from my people? Her mom and them have to tell her that, yeah, you do look different because we had to go to a sperm bank cause your daddy can't pop it off like you need to. When she found out who her mama and daddy had went to for this, she went to see Dr. Klein. His nasty fat ass told her, girl, your mama records been destroyed. We can't help you, basic. Good luck to on your search. But see, she left it alone for a period of time. And when she returned to it some years later, she went on 23andMe. She wasn't looking to find out who her donor was. It would have been a bonus, but it wasn't a necessity. And when she put her profile on 23andMe, 7 matches came up. Now, if y'all only allow a man to be a donor 3 times, how in the hell do I have all these damn siblings? She had questions. So what she did with her questions was, oh, okay. What she did with her questions was took them to her other one of her siblings, and together they started trying to look for it. And they end up finding a lady named Sylvia and asked, questions to Sylvia, and found out that Sylvia has clients in her family too. Okay. And from that, they're able to deduce that Donald Klein, the good doctor, had been a donor him damn self. Okay. She said it made her sick to her stomach when she realized what had happened. He lied about donors being used. Why? How many siblings were out there? Those are the questions that were going through her mind. She didn't know what to do first, but she ended up filing a complaint with the Attorney General's office for Indiana. They sent her that old generic reply: "You received this letter. It'll be investigated, and somebody will get back in touch with you." She ain't hear nothing back from them damn people. They didn't send her email. They ain't send her UPS mail. They didn't send that girl a kite. They didn't send her a damn thing. Okay? No email, no call, no nothing. And because she wanted answers, she reached out to this news outlet. No one would pick up her story. Jacoba was watching TV, watching the news one evening, and this reporter by the name of Angela came on, and Angela must was talking some type of shit that she liked because she decided to reach out to Angela on Facebook. And in February of 2015, she logged into Facebook and sent Jacoba a message back. Okay. So now since the Attorney General's office is giving me the runaround, this doctor, I already talked to him a while back ago, and he done told me pretty much fuck you, bitch, and goodbye. I done found out that this man is potentially my father, which is disgusting, and something needs to be done, right? Jacoba laid out exactly what she was, why she was reaching out to Angela. She believed the doctor in Indianapolis had inseminated multiple women with his own sperm. Now Angela found it shocking, but it was also backed by proof, so she couldn't disregard the email or the message. Because this girl is telling me that there's a doctor out here doing this shit, and she got DNA proof. Prior to Angela, Jacoba had reached out to many, many other places for help. Angela was surprised that no one listened nor was trying to find the truth out. Angela then went to her news director's office with this story. Angela reached out to Dr. Klein. He denied being the father and said he only used sperm from doctors in training. He said it was no way possible the siblings had more than 3 brothers or sisters. She asked would he like to see the DNA evidence, and he was like, would he like to submit DNA evidence? Do you want to see what we got? And do you want to submit DNA testing to prove that you're not the father? And he flat out declined the offer. In fact, he hung the damn phone up on him. Mm-hmm. Are y'all up to date on where we is so far? Well, after all of that happened, Angela had the first story, but withheld Klein's name. So it kind of made it hard for her to do that story, but they did it anyway. They really needed Dr. Klein's DNA to prove or disprove anything. One of Klein's kids reached out to one of his kids reached out to over 18 relatives and explained their mother went to Dr. Klein for these damn treatments, and that he was donating his own sperm. So it ain't got bad for Dr. Klein yet, but sit back, okay? After a few weeks, okay, Klein's son, she went after she did that with Angela on that news story. She actually reached out to some of Klein's kids. I'm talking about the ones I guess he was claiming. Okay. And after a few weeks, Klein's son messaged her back and they met up. His name was Doug. She met Doug and Donna, which are 2 of Klein's kids, and he brought his wife Audrey. They met up at a church. She knew that what she was about to tell them was a huge accusation. The Klein kids heard the shit, said, look, we talked to our dad. He did admit that he did that and that he could be your biological father. He admitted that he did use his sperm only when there was not a donor available. And he said that there was no way that he could have more than 10 children out here. Catch that. He telling them, he done told his kids, look, I fucking did the shit, okay? I did it. I admit it. I did it. But I only did it when there was no viable donor available. And ain't no way I got more than damn 10 kids. Ain't no way. Now, he say he ain't got but 10 kids, but then we meet sibling 14, a lady by the name of Julie Harmon. He ain't got but 10 kids now. He ain't got but 10 kids, but the sibling 14 was Miss Julie. She saw Jacoba on TV when Angela ran their story, and Julie noticed that they did look alike, and her husband even said You know what? Y'all do favor with each other. They looked alike. They could possibly be related. Julie was urged by her husband to find out, and she warned him, I don't think this gonna end well. She called her mother asking if she should get tested. And she said no because her mom was sure that her husband's sperm was what was used. Now this man, this girl done sat here and told her mama, her husband had seen this lady on TV, which was Jacoba. You see Jacoba on TV doing this news broadcast with Angela, and you sit there and you say to yourself, you say, girl, it's something about her. I know that they say some people look like other people in the world, but something is about this woman that I feel related to her, and hell, I look like her. Your husband even have to admit, y'all do look like y'all could be kin people. Maybe you need to go find out. And so that prompts her to go ahead on and go ask her mama. And her mama said, I use your daddy's sperm. Okay. Julie couldn't let it go, so she messages Jacoba on Facebook. She didn't know if Julie was apostle, if they was related or not. She told Julie to take that test, and if you are a possible sibling, it's gonna pop up. My name gonna pop up as one of your potential siblings. So you're gonna have to go on and take the test because I can't confirm just by talking to you, rather not what's going on. So girl, go ahead on and take the test. And if you are a sibling, my name gonna pop up, and baby, Jacoba name popped up. And that's when Julie said she felt her identity was basically washed away. It was emotional for her and her mother. Julie mom had to tell Julie daddy, and that upset him too. Because in that moment when he found out this sperm that this man's supposed to have been put inside of my wife wasn't my wife, we procreated a whole child. She grown as fuck now with her husband of her own. And you just told me that my baby girl ain't my motherfucking baby girl. Fucked up. Doug ends up calling Jacoba and asked if they would like to meet Dr. Klein so they can look him in the eye and ask questions. So he set up a meeting with Jacoba and 15 siblings to meet the good Dr. Daddy. Because there's 15 of them at this point. Dr. Klein showed up. He ain't had no emotions. He introduced himself. Ran around that table asking each and every one of them their names, age, and what their profession was. The fuck? So you gonna bring your old ass after you done did this malicious shit to a meeting with us, and you coming there? That felt like he was acting like a true doctor right then. Name, age, what you do for a profession. Bitches, am I meeting my father or am I on a motherfucking interview for a job, ho? Somebody somebody block that out of my chat because I don't want to hear that. Block that on out of here, baby. Block them. Don't come around here with that. Fuck all that. Now, what I was saying was, he acted like he was ranking them. Like, let me see which one of my offsprings made it to the motherfucking top. She felt judged, and this is Jacoba. And he asked about medical history. Some of them had autoimmune issues. He assured them that they'd be all right. And then this the part where he killed me, bitch. Bitch, this the part where he killed me. Man, you is wrong, is wrong, is wrong. This man actually pulled out the Bible and started quoting Jeremiah 1 and 5. And I was here for Jacoba when she told him, put that shit up. Put that motherfucking shit up. Put that shit away. Because you will not use God to justify your actions. One sibling asked why he used his sperm, and he answered he felt for the mother, and she was desperate for a child. He was doing it because he thought he was helping people. He moved the sibling count up. He said no more than 15. Now at first it was no more than 10, girl. Y'all see what we're doing? Now it done went up to ain't no more than 15 of y'all. Let's go to sibling 17, okay? Matt White, sibling number 17. He found out his concern was more for his mother. She was young and just wanted to have a family, according to him. Dr. Klein was a sick person to do this. Now, she would meet with Dr. Klein, and each meeting, he was the only one ever in the office. It was just him. So while she was in one room undressing, waiting for him to bring the donor sperm, he was in the other office having a good time so that he can deliver some extra. You see what I'm saying? This motherfucker killed me. You really trying to, okay. Liz said when Matt DNA returned, all she thought was she had been raped 15 times and didn't even know it. And I'm sure every one of them mothers felt like that. Because you didn't go in there for that. You probably wouldn't even consider to that if he would have did this the right way. That woman said when that DNA returned, all she thought was she had been raped 15 times and didn't even know it. Matt found it to be unbelievable. It was actually quite easy for him to do. No one would even think he'd do it. He's a philanthropist in the city. He's one of the church leaders in good standing in the community. Always self-assured, had everybody back. And then we met two of his colleagues, a married couple. And they will have a very, very, very significant part of this story. Stick with me. The female said, she's a doctor, by the way, said he was arrogant and always felt he knew more despite her higher level of education and experience. He tried to belittle her. Her husband said that, he didn't think too highly of him either. He was more tolerated than, appreciated. Now, it was one thing for certain. Even though this man come across as a goody two shoe, everybody in the community was saying that if you messed up with him, that's a wrap. I don't know what that means. Now let's get back to Angela, the news reporter, right? She recalled Dr. Klein telling her that, he was protected under HIPAA, right? He said her and the Fox News station could be sued and made it clear that she needed to be careful. Klein called Jacoba at this point, and Jacoba was smart enough to motherfucking record the call. Because in that call, he said he had called the news station that's been giving him problems, He already dealt with them, but he needed to call her. Because he want her to know that what you're doing is causing me a problem. He said that these people just trying to improve their rate. Meanwhile, they are trying to tear apart his marriage of 57 years. He asked her basically not to say nothing else. He wanted to keep his little secret. And the way he said that shit, he said it like he was trying to threaten somebody. You know that subtle, not yet not so subtle way people can talk to you sometimes. And it was also in that conversation that he seemed like he was blaming her for these people being in his life. Hmm. Jacoba told him it wasn't a damn thing she could do to stop Angela. Klein said she should stop talking to her. He was concerned about how, it could how she could be hurt. He was playing a mind game with the girl and threatening her all at the same damn time. That's what he was doing, okay? He was basically trying to put a little fear of her, okay? Never mind what he done did wrong. Never mind that he got all these kids whose lives are being altered with finding out the truth that he's the father. He's sick and he's sadistic, okay? And he's definitely not an asset to the medical community. He's selfish as fuck, in my opinion. That phone call angered Jacoba. And at that point, she was ready to battle him. See, she hadn't even got hyped yet. She hadn't even got hype really on his ass. She had to put him up against a wall, but she didn't make him crouch down yet. Even at that dinner table, when she told him to put that damn Bible, put this shit away. You over here trying to throw God in the middle of all this motherfucking fuckery, foolery, and mayhem that you done caused all us sitting around here related to each other, and don't none of us know you, bitch. You're unethical. You untrustworthy. You selfish as hell, and you another one that takes religion and tries to make it the reason for you to do the diabolical, low down, nasty shit that you do is because you feel like you can hide behind religion. God told you, okay? Whatever. Like I said, she was ready to fight at that point, so she contacted the attorney general's office again to get a status on her complaint, and no one returned her call yet again. So she decided to investigate him herself. So she dug into his life. There was a lot to go through. Then we get sibling 22, a woman by the name Heather Walk. Now I'm gonna tell you, when she went to digging into his life before she got to Heather Walk, girl, that she had a lot of motherfucking papers in that little office she built. It was so many articles, so many things about this man that was out there. Now, a lot of people did think that he was that dude, but it was also other things about himself, okay? So, like I said, we get to sibling 22. Her name is Heather Walk. Heather did a DNA test and received a message thinking from Jacoba saying she think they related. That girl said she started having an identity crisis shortly after hearing everything. Jacoba said she knew that every time a new sibling popped up, she was going to call and basically ruin their lives, but she had to tell the truth. Now, I ask you all this question. Do you think that Jacoba was right to reach out to each and every one of these siblings as she was as they hit that DNA testing for every sibling that popped up? Do you think she was right to reach out to each and every one of them, or do you think that she had done enough at that point? I would do a poll, but that's gonna take time. So I'm just asking you to put a one if you think that she should have continued to call each and every one of those siblings that popped up, or do you think that she should have minded her own business? I need a one or a two in the chat. Okay, so it's the consensus of the chat that she should have continued to contact each one of the siblings as they appeared because it was important for them to do. I think she was, hold on. I think she was selfishly right, meaning she took her feelings and reactions and just lumped them on everyone she could. Selfishly right. Okay. Okay. Now, at this point, Julie and Jacoba, remember these sisters now, they reached out to Heather. She did, they wanted to meet up with her, but she didn't want to meet up with them immediately. It was a couple of months before she actually reached out, and Heather reached. Well, it was a couple of months before Heather reached out to Julie and Jacoba and said that she wanted to have a meeting with them. Now, y'all, the drama don't stop here because now I got to tell y'all about sibling 33, Lisa Shepard. I ain't want to have to tell you, but that's what happened, okay? Lisa Shepard Steedham was her name. And she asked for a DNA test kit for Christmas. She was granted that wish. Random names was coming up. And, they said that they were in close relations to Lisa. Lisa didn't know what that means. But see, this one was different because Julie and Lisa kids, that's one of the siblings. See, this one the shit started really looking crazy. Julie and Lisa kids knew each other. She told Julie about Dr. Klein being their father. Initially, she thought Julie was joking, but until she called her mom and her mother confirmed that she did have fertility issues. Her father, to be exact, had fertility issues, and Julie Hart, Lisa Hart just dropped. Her daddy had a low sperm count, child. So they was referred to a specialist in Indianapolis. She confirmed it was Dr. Klein and said both times she and her husband went to see Dr. Klein, he obviously provided the specimen. That man ain't shit. This doctor is something else. I don't think I explained it to y'all right. I said it real fast, so let me back that train up. This girl, mom and dad, was going to this doctor's office, right? The daddy would give a specimen, even though that sperm count was low. But remember, they on some type of medications and shit like that. So each time he went, he gave a specimen, but the doctor never used it. He never used this man's sperm. He used his own. Bitch. The fucked up part about this whole thing was a majority of his kids lived within a 25-mile radius of each other, and a few of them lived just minutes away from Klein himself. It make you just wonder as you go about your life every day, not knowing if you related to the motherfucker crossing the street with you, the bitch that's checking you out at the grocery store, the lady that you receive your mail from if you go into the post office. Child, this man populated over half of that town. Okay. Then came the time the news station decided to move forward with the news story. Okay. Angela reached out to Dr. Klein to let him know that they would be using his name and offered him to come clean to the public. Do you want to come on through? Do you want to come on through? He agreed to meet up with her, but not at the news station. Angela met up with Dr. Klein at the restaurant near the station for safety reasons. Plus, Jacoba had already told her, "Look, girl, you got now. I involved you in this shit, but I ain't trying to get you killed. You do know he carry a pistol, right? Okay. So if you gonna go, make sure you somewhere close by some safety. You need to be around some people's bitch. You cannot go and be in a closed place with somebody who whole life finna be altered by what you finna put out here without using some safety measures." Angela admitted she was nervous than a motherfucker. She was nervous than a hole in church on Sunday morning after hooking all night Saturday night. Okay, she was dripping from girl. She was nervous. Okay, he asked was gun permitted, and she began to worry even more. She ain't know if I meet up with this man, is he gonna harm me? And he already done made it clear he know where I live. He know where I'm from, so I'm nervous as hell. That meeting was an hour long. He basically was begging her not to run the store because it would ruin his marriage. It would hurt his church that he was an elder at. But she explained that she had to tell the truth. I don't know what to tell you. I got to tell the truth. And after that, things began to happen. When he knew that these people was about to jump up in his real life, Jacoba got hacked. I'm sorry, Jacoba had the lug nuts, bitch. The lug nuts I removed from all her tires. Y'all know that's the nut that hold that tire up against that rim, right? I know so well because I had a moment of insanity once, and I didn't do all four, but I did do one. Okay. Girl, you got to have some strength on you too to do that. I'm just gonna be honest with you. That ain't no easy job because I was out there, and baby, I was younger then. Girl, I was out there sweating, trying to get them lug nuts loose. But Jacoba had all four of hers taken off. Julie got hacked. Everything she said to her Google Drive was erased. All emails regarding him were gone. Folks was calling, started strange calls coming in, calls about cemetery plots and shit like that. They was feeling like they was being followed. All of this harassment to try to silence these people. High five, Sister Queen. You know what it gives. That nigga done pooped up for real. Everything, every single thing that you could think of that could make a person nervous, this man was doing in efforts to shut them up. He did not want this story to come out. Jacoba says she can't she could be she could be threatened, but she ain't backing down. She will expose his damn secret. And then she found out some more information from about the good old Dr. Klein, okay? She found out that he had actually hit a child that was on a bicycle back in 1963, baby. Picture it. 1963. Okay, old fashioned ass car, probably an antique today. Okay, child riding along on their bicycle, mama sitting in the front yard watching them while she dig up her garden and get her plants and stuff together. Mm-hmm. He riding down the road, he don't see her, and all of a sudden she decides to dart right in front of him, and all he feel is a bump that he rolls over. And when he stops, he sees that frantic mother running out to the car, running out to the streets, crying. And in the rear view of his mirror, he sees the legs of a child that he obviously just hit. Okay, the child died according to some. That's when his whole life changed. This is where the religion comes in. I wasn't even in 63, girl. I had to tell a story though. That's when he gave his life to God, okay? Because he was traumatized. Now, remember them colleagues I told you about, not Dr. Culver, but I'm talking about Miss Shireen and Mark. The ones that said that even though Shireen's way smarter than him, way more educated than him, he always tried to belittle her and her husband. They went along with the story. Okay, well, they come back into the picture at this point, okay? Because they say he began to attend church more and more and more. They suggested that he may have thought by doing what he did, it was his way of giving back. So he got so deep into the Lord that he actually thought by him going in here and using his own sperm to make these women who want to have babies get pregnant. He is saying that that could possibly been his thinking when he did this, because he think he giving back for that one child that he felt like he had taken her life, when in actuality it really wasn't his fault. Mm-hmm. Since he took that life, he gonna give one back. Either way, it was not what he should have done to make amends. Okay, it was said that he became very religious. He had deep roots into the religion. He and his wife taught marriage counseling at their church. They taught Sunday school at the church, at the office. Before they started seeing patients, they would have to stand there and he would offer up a little prayer for him and the staff. Shireen said he asked her one day, "Hey, are you Jewish? Ma'am, are you Jewish?" And she said, "Yes." And then she went on to tell him, "Since you in my religious business, I'm a little uncomfortable with your office full of all of these religious saying. It's like if you want to, sayings like if you want to go to heaven, you got to be a Christian. Why I got to be a Christian to go to heaven? It's like you saying that the only way to get anywhere near the truth, the light, and the resurrection is through being a Christian." And I didn't know that God had all these specifications when I signed up for the damn job, and that's doing right. That's believing in a higher power. I ain't know I had to have all that going on. Then in the documentary, we saw that they talked to some folks who wanted to conceal their identities, right, from the church. Dr. Klein would have full on baptisms in the pool in the back of his house. I don't think you hear me. I said this man and his wife did marriage counseling down at the church. They also taught Sunday school. At his office every day, he had to say a prayer with his staff. He done asked Shireen, "Is she Jewish?" Not Jewish, is you Jewish? Okay. She said yes and went on to tell him about how he making her feel like if you ain't a Christian, you ain't got no chance in hell. Okay. Then they done talked to somebody from the church that didn't want to show who they are on the documentary, and they said the man would have up in anywhere from 50 to 100 people at a time up in his house performing goddamn baptisms. That person also said that that he believed that we all have done things, and it is in his opinion that God had forgiven Dr. Klein because he's a different person now. Jacoba said, "You ain't as godly as you pretend to be." Mm-mm. And because you did it time and time again when you could have stopped, tells me ain't nothing godly about you. And then, child, we met Jason Hyatt. That is motherfucking sibling number 48. Okay, girl. I'm. It's almost over, y'all. It's almost over. Just sit with me a little bit longer, okay? Because this was in depth, and I got to do this my way, okay? Now, his story was that he has blonde hair and blue eyes. When everybody in his house, including his cousins and them, and his cousins and them, Child, everybody up in there got dark hair and dark eyes, and I'm over here with this blonde hair and blue eyes. So he decided to do him an ancestry kit. And when he checked his hits, whereas he was told he would probably only get anywhere from 11 to 15 hits, child, he had over 3,000. I'm just telling you what the show said. I'm just telling you what the show said now. The show said the man, Jason Hyatt, wanted to know where he came from because all this blue hair and blonde eye ain't it don't blend in with these dark-eyed, dark-haired people that they say is my people. So he did him an ancestry kit, and he was told that he would probably get anywhere from 11 to 15 hits. But when he checked, he had over 3,000 hits. Needless to say, Jacoba called his ass. Baby, Jacoba called him. She said that, hey, I'm your sister, and explained the story. And naturally, Jason had many emotions and overcome him because his life had been a lie in his mind. He said it took him to a dark place, and he had questions. Jacoba and Jason met up, and they have similar instincts. She played the recording of that call that Klein did with her for him to hear. Child, man was in that recording. Let's go back to Jeremiah 1 and 5. As he child, I didn't get it. I'm sorry, I'm just remembering the movie in my head while I get y'all this scripture real quick. Okay, I'm finna get y'all this scripture. Okay, because I'm tired of him. Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart. I appointed you as prophet of the nations. See, the part that he is going by is the part that say, before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Sick motherfucker. Now that's some creepy shit. Jacoba soon received an email from the Attorney General's office and CC'd it to others. And she went through each name to find them on Facebook, and she found one. She received the email. She CC'd it to everybody, and in that, when they sent it to her, they had other people's names on there. She went on Facebook, and that's when she found a quiver field. I think, write it again, just love it, so I can read it, because my handwriting is, I think it's Quiverfield, but I want you to tell me, is that what I'm supposed to be saying? Is it called a Quiverfield address? Because that's the actual community of people who believe in having as many kids as possible. One of the people that was CC'd on the letter from the Attorney General's office, she put the dots together, and that's what happened. And as I understood it, a man who can have as many children as possible and arrows them out into the world to be ambassadors for God. They are raised to actively participate in law, actively run for office, seek positions of political prominence, and eventually that civil law will actually become Bible. Quiverfield, let me make sure that's what, okay. As uses the Jeremiah, they also use the Jeremiah scripture as part of their site because it's a site. Basically, to me, it's like a Handmaid's Tale type of situation. That's the way I look at it. Do anybody else would agree that that's kind of like a Handmaid's Tale type of thing? Women are basically breeders. And so Jacoba had, to find out for sure if Dr. Klein was a part of this Quiverville community movement, whatever you want to call it. Did he do this and make them part of this weirdo shit? She told the siblings about the Quiverville movement. A wall of Caucasian kids Preserving the white race. Siblings are quite naturally upset because they have questions. They got questions for the good old Dr. Daddy Klein, that he ain't willing to answer. Was he racist? Was he a racist bigot that used their mothers over and over again? Theories upon theories. Jacoba wanted him to be punished, and the Attorney General's office would not help. Angela was the only one willing to continue to ask for help. She didn't give up on wanting answers ever. Then we meet Tim Delaney. And girl, I'm getting more and more so that where I just tell a bitch how I really feel. Cause fuck your feelings. I don't know if they come with age. That's just where I'm at right now. I don't like this motherfucker, okay? He said that when the media inquiry came in, no true investigations had been done. He said it was no crime that touches that particular act committed. It was a sexual violation, but legally it wasn't. So it couldn't be classified as a rape. Jacoba asked, what about battery? The DA got rude with her and said that he didn't know how many times he had to tell her he can't charge him with a battery because it wasn't no motherfucking battery. Maybe he was a part of the Quiverfield movement because Jacoba was frustrated. They wanted him to be put up on charges. They wanted him charged with a crime, but legally he had not actually committed a crime. Then they thought rape by deception. Delaney didn't feel that Indiana juries would accept that theory. All the ladies consented to insemination, and all of them agreed they would not have to consent for him. They all agreed that they would not have to consent to him for being a donor. Eventually, that got him. They ordered DNA testing. He was proven to be the father. He went to trial and was found guilty of two level two felons and got a suspended sentence and fined $500. I'm gonna tell y'all again. This man was found guilty of level two felonies and got a suspended sentence and only a $500 fine. Miss Jean, stick your hand out so I can tap your wrist, because that's basically all they gave him. Meanwhile, many of the siblings have health issues that are similar to one another, because Dr. Klein had health issues and had tried to donate sperm. When if he would have went about it legally, he would have been denied as a donor because he got health issues. At this point, it's time to meet another sibling. Carrie Foster is sibling number 53. that shit there is crazy. Her parents wanted a healthy child. So again, many of Dr. Klein's kids have similar health issues, such as autoimmune issues. Jacoba has the illness. The doctor can't pinpoint what's exactly wrong with her. One of the siblings have blood clotting issues. One of them spent weeks in the hospital for various illnesses. One with digestive and colon issues, and Carrie Foster has issues as well, and so does her child. Now they say Dr. Klein had rheumatoid arthritis. And his colleagues, Shireen and Mark, said that, he would swell up real bad, right? And they are the ones that suggested that he could see the right specialist and get on medications that wouldn't jeopardize his career. And that's what he did. He went and saw the doctor. And there were people out there that still felt like this man was a good man after all this happened, okay? Not only have you given birth to all these damn, well, fathered all these damn children, you ill as fucking to pass that shit on to them. And they have the genes, so one of the ladies passed it on to her child. But we ain't through meeting siblings, because let us continue with sibling 61, Allison Kramer. She took a DNA test because her and her kids were diagnosed with a genetic disorder. Okay? When she saw her siblings, she assumed it was a mistake because she wasn't aware of her parents. She wasn't aware of her parents had any fertility treatments done. But Jacoba Jacoba messaged her, and she initially disregarded that message. The siblings went on Dr. Phil. Jacoba and them siblings went on Dr. Phil. They discussed what they had found and how the doctor was actually the donor. They told their stories. And while they was on Dr. Phil and it was Aaron, guess who watched it? Allison saw it. And she saw all them siblings. And the same ones that was on the show was the ones listed on her profile. And that's when she knew she was a part of that situation as well. Remember the colleagues, Shireen and Mark? Well, Klein impregnated her as well. See, I told you she was gonna that couple was gonna come back. The one, the Jewish, the Jewish, they actually went to Dr. Klein and he impregnated her as well. So that's why she had no good disposition about him anyway on this documentary, because she knew what she knew. We just didn't know what she knew, but I'm finna tell y'all. She had twin daughters. And guess what? Sibling number one, Allison, was one of the twins. Mm-mm. That girl didn't take well learning that Mark wasn't her biological father. Allison also, he go to twist, y'all. He go to twist of the whole review. Now, I done told you Shireen and Moore had Allison, right? Allison also had fertility issues, and she used Dr. Klein. No, she didn't have no fertility issues. She went for him for female shit, but not that. But she also used Dr. Klein as her doctor. He examined her, and the fact he did all the things he did, touching all over her body, checking everything, looking at everything, bend over, spread your legs, bank head, bounce, bitch, all of that, okay? He was his own child's doctor, and that girl didn't even know it. Dr. Klein does not see these people as his children. The siblings don't see him as their father either, but they do want him to pay. And he will probably have to wait till he get to the afterlife to do that. In 2018, the mothers and siblings successfully passed a legislation in Indiana making illicit donor inseminations illegal. There is currently still no federal law. Thanks to DNA testing, 14 additional doctors have been found to have used their own sperm to inseminate fertility patients. Klein is just the most prolific. Klein is said to have 94 children by the end of the production of just this documentary. It may have actually gone up some. Yes, he knew that was his daughter, because he knew that he had impregnated Shireen. He knew who Allison was because he grew up like a part of their family. Because not only did they work for him, but he was their doctor. Now, by the end of the production, he had 94 kids. It may have actually gone up some since that time. They ain't ever do nothing about that. And since then, they found, since this story, 44, 44 other doctors have been found to have put their sperm in people. Okay, thanks to DNA testing, 44 additional doctors have been found to have used their own sperm to inseminate fertility patients. So that was it. That's pretty much the rundown of what it was. I don't think I left too much out, but if I did, y'all please make sure you go over to Netflix and check out Our Father. This was one for the books. It was a lot because it was so many damn siblings popping up on me, but I gave it the best that I could give it, girl. And I hope that you all have enjoyed the live review of Our Father. If y'all ain't got no questions or no concerns, you can start dropping the purple hearts because I'm finna get up out of here. That's exactly what the hell it was. A total disgrace, child. Total disgrace, child. Now, let me see what our next project is so y'all will know. Let me get my paperwork. Shell, I will be looking at what you email me. I'll take a look at that today. Girl, did I grab the wrong paper? Hold on. Oh, that ain't it. It must be this one. It is. The Idaho 4 is the next one. I'm going to talk about that. So that'll be my next commentary to you all. Will be the Idaho 4. I probably won't be back tomorrow because I'll start looking into the story so that I can talk about it, get my pictures and things of that nature. No, I'm not going to drop my link. I'm going to get the hell up out of here. You guys have a great remainder to your Wednesday. I plan on doing the same. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being here, rocking out. And I'll see you guys probably Friday. Good day.